Hey guys, how's it going? This is the Bold Metal Nerd. You've already seen the title of this. You know what this is going to be about. I apologize for releasing a political video this soon after, not doing daily videos anymore. But with Super Tuesday coming up tomorrow, and all of the recent developments in the primary Democratic side, um, I I just felt the need. I have to say something. Okay. Right now, we're only down to 5 candidates. Five. And only two that are worth. I think are left. I think personally are worth a damn. Now, uh, I'm gonna focus on a few characters who are left, and I'm gonna talk about each one. I'm very quickly going to talk about Tulsi Gabbard because I honestly forgot she was still in this thing. Uh, I'm fine with her being in there. I think she does bring something important to the conversation since she mostly focuses on reducing our military entanglements overseas. And I generally like Tulsi. I do disagree with her on a number of issues, but I think she's valuable. Unfortunately, with her extremely low polling numbers, and she essentially has done not very much in this primary, except for shifting the conversation. And I think she would be a great VP pick, of course, for my candidate of choice, which I'll get to when I talk about him. Right. So, but other than that, whatever. I'm fairly neutral on Tulsi staying in or not because she's not having just much of an impact in the race at this time. So moving on from her, we have Biden and Bloomberg. Right. Um, I find them both to be fairly loathsome people. I think out of the two, Bloomberg is worse because he's another billionaire, idiot, egoist oligarch who essentially is trying to buy the presidency. He's already admitted in one of the debates that he bought Congress people. A little bit of a Freudian slip. He's awful. Michael Bloomberg to me is the epitome of what is wrong with America. Okay, period. He is, I think, worse than Donald Trump. I think he's the only candidate who I think is actually worse than Donald Trump. So that's how I feel about Michael Bloomberg. Next up, I'm going to talk about Joe Biden. How do I feel about Joe Biden? He's kind of a male Hillary Clinton, right? So pretty bad. Maybe slightly better than Trump in a few ways, but still, overall, a bad choice for a candidate. Okay? In my opinion. So far, Bloomberg and Biden would not have a chance in hell against Trump in a general election. Trump would wipe the floor with either one of those jokers. If one of those two gets the nomination, we can skip the general election in November because it will be a Trump victory. I can pretty much guarantee that. So, moving on. Now we're going to talk about the other lady left, and that is Elizabeth Warren. Now, if you are an Elizabeth Warren supporter, don't take this as a personal attack, please. This is more just directed against her as a politician / person, not you if you are a supporter of her. I find her to be an awful, terrible snake. She was professing to be Bernie's friend, and now the only reason she's still in this thing because she's got no delegates. She has no path to nomination. The only reason she's still in this is to be a spoiler for Bernie. That is the only reason that woman is still in this race. I had very little respect for her when this process began. I now have zero respect for her because the whole Pocahontas thing before the primary really took, that and what happened with her back in 2016 made me lose an immense amount of respect for her. Now, with what's happened this time around, my view of Elizabeth Warren is definitely incredibly negative at this point. So, if you are an Elizabeth Warren supporter, ask yourself, why are you supporting her? What is it about her? I don't know. Maybe she sounds somewhat intelligent on some things, but she's honestly, in my opinion, just a really bad, dishonest person. And do we really need another one of those as president? I don't think so. So, of course, that's going to bring me to my candidate of choice, who's been my candidate of choice since this whole ball of wax began. That, of course, is Bernie Sanders. In relating to Tulsi Gabbard, I think Tulsi would be a very fine VP pick for Bernie, or a cabinet member in Bernie's administration. So that's how I think Tulsi would relate to the whole Bernie thing. So there you go. So, Bernie is obviously what's obviously happening now is the entire Democratic establishment is trying to do their damnedest to make sure that Bernie does not get the nomination, right? If you want to see any reforms at all, and hell, if you want to have, let's not even talk about reforms. If we want to talk about the only candidate with one remote chance in hell of beating Trump, it's Bernie Sanders. Because the nominee is going to be either Bernie, Bloomberg, or Biden. It's going to be one of those three. After tomorrow, we'll probably have a better idea of who that's going to be, but it's going to be one of those three. And only one has any shot at all of beating Trump. So if you want to remove Trump, vote for Bernie. If you want any sort of reform at all, vote for Bernie. If you have if you're a supporter of another candidate, don't take this personally, but if you have any sense at all and you're a Democrat and you want to vote in the Democratic primary, vote for Bernie. So I'm urging you tomorrow on Super Tuesday, if you are in one of those states, vote for Bernie. Now, of course, to all the people who lean the other way, if you want to call Bernie a communist, social, whatever, you want to bash him, go ahead in the comments. I will probably ignore you if you just talk about how terrible Bernie is and all that. I don't care. But feel free to leave such verbal diarrhea down there in the comments if you must, because I know, obviously, I'm going to get some negative reactions on this, but that's okay. So, again, I just urge everyone out there who can vote tomorrow in the Super Tuesday states and they are inclined to, and now is the time to really do it. It's within our grasp. So, please vote for Bernie tomorrow if you can. That's it. Thanks so much for watching. As always, live long and prosper. Keep on rocking. Get out there and vote.